They come from all across the world, from many different lands. The brave from Britain, the confident from America, the determined from Japan, and anyone else, anywhere else, who wants to step up to the challenge. 100 challengers compete across a 4-stage obstacle course devised by the devil. Success means glory. Failure means humiliation. It truly is win or die. Many have tried. Very few have succeeded. But they all have one goal: to become the next champion. This is Ninja Warrior of Halo!
Hello guys, I'm HuntUnit751 and welcome back to Ninja Warrior of Halo. Stage 1 of Tournament 18 is over. 100 challengers came to take on this brand new stage in the first Halo 5 tournament. And whilst 89 failed, 11 men did manage to succeed to move on to Stage 2, as we saw real progress made on the stage. As well as the 11 successes, 12 more competitors got to at least the warped wall, whilst another 3 made it to the final obstacle. But that wasn't to say we didn't have shocks though. Veteran Master Nuramak failed Stage 1 for the first time ever, whilst All-Star Ice Spiteful should have had Stage 1 beat, but made a costly mistake at the finish line. But we do still have 11 men standing, and a real mixture of youth and experience. 4 competitors will be taking on Stage 2 for their first time, whilst another 3 will be taking it on for their second time. Sane, Gotenks, Elite and Smokey provide the experience. Now, they must all gather themselves once again for their next challenge, the second stage. Like Stage 1, Stage 2 had a massive overhaul in the last tournament following Smokey's total victory. And coming into the first Halo 5 tournament, there have been a couple of tweaks made to some of the obstacles. The one that everyone will be wary of though is the Salmon Ladder, which took out 3 of the 7 challengers that attempted it in the last tournament. And with a time limit of just 80 seconds on the clock, our competitors will have to move quickly as well as carefully if they want to succeed. The question is, who will have what it takes to advance to the third stage? Will it be youth and the new stars rising in Halo jumping, or will it be the established veterans that have the last laugh? Let's head back to Stage 2 start line where the action is about to begin. You get the feeling a titanic battle is about to take place, not just on the course, but also amongst our competitors. The first of 11 challengers is waiting at the start line, and this man was the pace setter on Stage 1. He set the standard, he led the way on the first stage. This is newcomer Sauron Socks, number 18, who, as I say, was the first competitor to beat Stage 1 in this tournament. He has the honour of being the first ever competitor to take on Stage 2 on Halo 5. The crowd is watching on, all supporting him. 80 seconds to defeat 6 obstacles. The first is the downhill jump, which he handles very nicely, and moves on to the Salmon Ladder. This is a tricky obstacle. 6 little ledges that you've got to climb up, and he's having trouble on it already. They get thinner and thinner the higher you go, and the gaps between them also get further and further apart, so each jump gets harder and harder. But he's onto the 4th one, going for the 5th one. Oh, he misses it. And now he's trying to save himself, but he's going back down to the bottom and he can't save it, and he's out on the Salmon Ladder. Sauron is beaten. Well, he may have made it 12 tournaments in a row that we've had a newcomer on Stage 2, but Sauron, perhaps it was his lack of experience, but he could not handle the Salmon Ladder. He tried to get up to that 5th ledge, but he couldn't make it, and when he tried to land, he just got completely rejected and dropped like a stone. That brings us on to our second competitor, and a man that many of us were very surprised to see make it to the second stage. This is Flame Vortex 03. This is his second appearance on the course. His first appearance in Tournament 15 saw him go out on just the third obstacle of Stage 1. So I was very impressed to see him beat Stage 1 on this, his second appearance. How will he fare on Stage 2? He also gets through the downhill jump, and he's also moving on to the salmon ladder. There is a trick to doing this obstacle. You've got to get on the edge of each of the ledges and then jump up. Otherwise, you'll hit your head and drop into the waters. And Flame's looking good at the minute, up to the fourth one with no problems so far. Oh, but he makes a mistake going up to the fifth one, and he drops out as well. And he is also beaten on that fifth ledge of the salmon ladder. 2 men down already. Now for our next competitor, and this one is a landmark moment because this next run on Stage 2 will be the 150th ever in the history of Ninja Warrior of Halo. And who better to take it on than one of the rising stars on this course, who's apparently a very popular man as well, because he's got his own fan group ready to support him and looks like kick the crap out of him. Can he deliver for his fans and make it to the third stage? Next up on Stage 2 is Alpha Puma. This is Puma's 4th appearance on the course and the second time he's made it to Stage 2. His first time came in the final Xbox 360 tournament, which as we now know was the last tournament to feature the classic Stage 2. With obstacles such as the chain reaction, brick climb and spider walk, and the vehicle ramps. And he managed to defeat all of these obstacles with ease to advance to the third stage, where he put on a very impressive performance. But following that, he had a very disappointing run in Tournament 17, and this tournament has been all about revenge. And so far he has delivered. He got his revenge on the jumping spider, and defeated Stage 1 with no trouble at all. This coming on the back of setting himself a huge target of getting to at least the cliffhanger in Stage 3. But having now seen this Stage 2, he's suddenly not feeling so confident, particularly with this salmon ladder. He struggled with it in practice, and he's probably feeling even worse having now seen Sauron and Flame fail it. But he's not going to give up. He's still going to give it a go. 6 obstacles, 80 seconds, and he is off. The 150th attempt on Stage 2, and it's over already! Puma is out on the very first obstacle, the downhill jump. He jumped too early. This obstacle is all about timing. As soon as the tank fires, the platform that he's standing on moves, and then it's all about knowing when to jump. He jumped too early, smacked his head, and that's it for Tournament 18 for Puma. That's 3 men out already, just 8 left to go. Next up on Stage 2 is Paddy Freakin, aka Paddy Freakin Clips, etc, etc. He has 6 obstacles to defeat, and unlike Puma, he gets through the downhill jump. This is also his first time on Stage 2. And now for this salmon ladder. He's lining himself up. Is he spring jumping? He's spring jumping up the salmon ladder. This is an interesting technique. He's making it work at the minute, although he's having a bit of trouble. But he gets up to the 5th ledge. And now the 6th, and he's done it! He's defeated the salmon ladder. He's the first to make it to the stick slider. This has been redesigned from the last tournament. You've now got to slide down the chute and time your jump to get out of it and land on the platform, which he's done nicely. He's moving on to the net bridge. This is pretty similar to what we saw in the last tournament, a set of columns that you've got to make your way through. And he's done it onto the metal spin. Huge jump onto the platform and a huge jump off the other side, and now he's onto the last obstacle, the tackle machine, with 20 seconds left on the clock. This is also different. Instead of a dice that you've got to smack, you've now got a ball that you've got to push through the little pathway, and he's done it nicely. And Paddy Freakin defeats the second stage with 8.5 seconds left on the clock, and Paddy Freakin is the first man through to Stage 3. Nicely done by Paddy. Brilliant stuff. The crowd is happy. Snoz is going for a dip and survives it. Interesting. But Paddy Freakin gets past the salmon ladder. He had an interesting technique, spring jumping his way up the obstacle. Unorthodox, but he makes it work. And the rest of the obstacles after that were no trouble at all. And Paddy Freakin becomes the first competitor in this tournament to make it to the third stage. Will Paddy's success now open the floodgates for other competitors? Next up is Weapon Matt. He, alongside Smokey, are the only two competitors that beat stage 1 in the last tournament that have also made it to stage 2 in this tournament. He went out on the salmon ladder on his debut in the last tournament. He was the competitor that provided our newcomer on stage 2 in the last tournament. The question is, can he get his revenge on the salmon ladder? He's through the downhill jump and now moving on to the salmon ladder. He's already done better than he did in the last tournament. And he's also spring jumping up the salmon ladder. This is an unorthodox technique, but our competitors are making it work. They're thinking outside the box on how to get through this obstacle. And he's through it and he's done it. He's got his revenge. Now heading onto the stick slider. Lands nicely on the clover-shaped platform. Now moving to the net bridge. Taking his time a little bit, not going as fast as Paddy did. You've got to keep an eye on that clock though. 32 seconds left. He's going for the metal spin. Don't underestimate this. He doesn't. And he beats it and he's onto the last obstacle. But he's a little bit behind on time to where Paddy was. Can he get through the tackle machine? Oh, he punched the ball and it rolled backwards. That's going to cost him even more time. The klaxon sounds. It's going to be close, but Weapon Matt's going to have enough time left. 4.2 seconds left on the clock, and Weapon Matt defeats the second stage as well. He gets his revenge on the salmon ladder and gets his revenge on stage 2, and he will be moving on to the third stage for his first time. And his reward is to get shot in the head, apparently. Weapon Matt, this salmon ladder, they're using spring jumps to get through it. An interesting way. Maybe our competitors are fearing this obstacle so much they're resorting to some desperate tactics. It's not the way to do the obstacle. Well, it is a way to do the obstacle, but it's not the way I was expecting people to do it. Nevertheless, they're thinking outside the box, and now Weapon Matt joins Paddy in stage 3. Can our next competitor follow suit? This is DHG Fireball, the last of the competitors that is taking on stage 2 for their first time. How will he fare? Can he join the two men that have just got through? He had the fastest time on stage 1, so he shouldn't be worried about speed when it comes to this stage. He's going for the salmon ladder, and he's also spring jumping up it. It's not the way to do this obstacle, but our competitors are making it work. He's up to the 6th ledge. Oh, he's having a little bit of trouble now, but he saves it nicely. And he throws himself at the stick slider. That's risky, but he makes it work. He's onto the net bridge. And he's not wasting any time at all. He's looking to get the fastest time on this stage as well. Now for the metal spin, a huge jump, a nice landing, and a good dismount. And he's got 32 seconds left on the clock as he enters the tackle machine. He is on his way to getting the fastest time so far. As long as nothing disastrous happens now, he's trying to punch the ball to get it going. The ball doesn't like that, it's trolling him a bit. But Fireball makes it through and beats the stage with 15 seconds left on the clock. That is the fastest time so far in the tournament on stage 2. The fastest time easily compared to the other two. And Fireball is another man moving on to the third stage. This spring jump technique is looking like the way to go on the salmon ladder. As I say, you can do this salmon ladder without spring jumping, but our competitors are deciding to play it safe by using the spring jumps. If it makes the obstacle easier for them, then well done to them. Fireball cruised through the rest of the stage with no trouble at all. And after 3 failures in a row, we have now had 3 straight clears on stage 2. Sadly though, despite those successes, our next 2 competitors did not fare so well, with the salmon ladder once again biting into our challengers. First was Sane the Legend, back on stage 2. This former first place finisher struggled to get up to the 5th ledge and ultimately dropped out on the salmon ladder. As did our number 99 in this tournament, Shadier Degree, who was looking to become the first ever competitor to make it to stage 3 on both of his first 2 appearances. But those dreams came to an end by the salmon ladder. So that's 5 men down, 3 men through, and just 3 left to go. As our next competitor heads to the start line, can he defeat the second stage? He's done it before in the past. Next up on stage 2 is Gotenks. This is Gotenks' 5th appearance on the course, having made his debut back in Tournament 14. In his 4 previous appearances, he's had a mixed bag of results so far on this course. He's defeated Stage 1 twice, on his debut in Tournament 14, and then again in Tournament 16. On both of those occasions, he was able to defeat the second stage, and put on reasonably decent performances on the 3rd stage. But despite those 2 successes, he's also had 2 Stage 1 failures. After his impressive debut performance, he surprisingly failed the warped wall in Tournament 15, and then in the last tournament, he stunned everyone when he went out on just the 4th obstacle, the jumping spider. This tournament, however, he got his revenge on the jumping spider, and he was able to defeat Stage 1 by the skin of his teeth. He cleared with just 0.003 of a second left on the clock. Blink, and he could have ran out of time, and he wouldn't be taking on this Stage 2. So the question is, will he be able to pick up the pace and defeat Stage 2 once again? Gotenks. That save jump, that little short hop at the end of Stage 1 saved his bacon. Now he's taking on the second stage. Can he make it to the 3rd stage once again? He makes his way to the salmon ladder. He expressed his serious concerns about his chances on this obstacle, but he's not going to give up. He's taking his time. He's not spring jumping, he's doing it the normal way. Getting on the edge and then jumping up. Taking his time a little bit there just to make sure he gets each one right. He's on to the 5th one. Now for this last one. This last ledge is so thin, you've got to get it just right. He goes for it. He misses it. Oh no, Gotenks, he's going down. He saves himself. But he's back down at the bottom. Oh no. Look at the time, 30 seconds left. He's surely not going to have enough time. Even if he beats this obstacle, he's not going to have enough time to beat the stage. The clock is mercilessly running down, but he's not going to give up. He's still going, and he's done it! Oh, Gotenks, well done! He beats the salmon ladder, but he doesn't know what he's doing on the stick slider! And he goes out! He's beaten on the stick slider. Oh, Gotenks. Well, he didn't get past the salmon ladder in practice. That's probably why he didn't think he was going to beat this obstacle. When he went for that last ledge the first time, he missed it and he dropped all the way back down to the bottom. It was a brilliant save, but ultimately, although he got up it on the second try, he had no time left on the clock and he didn't know what to do on the stick slider, and he dropped out. That leaves us with just 2 competitors left to go now. But they are the elite. They are the best of the best. They are the all-stars. And with Drago and Reen now retired, they are the 2 most experienced competitors on this stage. On past form, they should get through it. But the question is, will they? Next up on stage 2 is Elite MKB. The pro racer and all-star, this is Elite's 9th time taking on the second stage. In 8 previous attempts, he's done pretty well, defeating stage 2 6 times, with his most recent success coming in Tournament 15. However, on his last attempt on stage 2 in Tournament 16, he had a bit of a nightmare. He struggled on the brick climb by trying to do it too fast, and then shockingly crashed out on the spider walk. 2 obstacles that he's defeated countless times in the past, but couldn't on that occasion. It was Elite's worst performance ever on stage 2, and out of the 22 competitors that made it to the second stage in Tournament 16, he put on the worst performance. So, the question is, can Elite bounce back on stage 2 this time? Well, Elite MKB, this second stage is totally different to the one he attempted 2 tournaments ago. And having failed stage 1 in the last tournament, he has no prior experience to look at when it comes to preparing for this stage. How will he fare? 80 seconds to defeat 6 obstacles. And he gets through the downhill jump nicely. And now he's moving on to the salmon ladder. Can this all-star get through it? We saw Gotenks heroically fight his way through this obstacle. Can Elite follow suit? He's looking good at the minute. Oh, he hits his head on the 5th one and he can't save it, and Elite is out on the salmon ladder. Even an all-star can't defeat this obstacle. Elite MKB is beaten once again on stage 2. He got through the downhill jump with no problems, and he was looking good on the first 3 jumps of the salmon ladder, but it's that 5th ledge once again, just like it was for Flame and Sauron. Elite can't get through it. And for the 2nd time in a row, Elite goes out on stage 2 and fails to advance to the 3rd stage. And with that, it means we're already down to our final competitor on stage 2. The question is, can this man succeed when so many others have failed? He's doing his traditional intro all the way up to the start platform, although he's run into a few technical problems with this intro now because he can't grab the gun. Guess he's going to have to ditch it. Last up on stage 2 is reigning grand champion Smokey Massacre. Like Elite, this is Smokey's 9th time taking on stage 2. But it's the 8th tournament in a row that he's made it to this stage. He first attempted stage 2 way back in tournament 6, where one small slip up at the very end of stage 2 cost him on the vehicle ramps. But since then, since he made it back to stage 2 in tournament 11, he has defeated it in every tournament since. 7 straight stage 2 successes is an outright record, and by beating stage 1 in this tournament, he set a new record of 8 straight stage 1 clears, beating the previous record. He attempted this stage in the last tournament with all its new obstacles and absolutely crushed the stage to set the fastest ever clear time on stage 2. So, the question is, can Smokey extend his record on stage 2 even further and make it 8 times in a row on stage 3? Smokey Massacre. Although Ree does have 10 straight stage 2 successes, you can't ignore Smokey's record on this stage. 7 straight tournaments he's beaten stage 2. Can he go for 8 in a row now? It's going to be decided by this salmon ladder. This is surely going to be the make or break obstacle. But he's flying up the salmon ladder so far, just like he did in the last tournament. He's onto the 6th one. No, he slips down. No, Smokey is beaten. Smokey Massacre undone by the salmon ladder. Smokey Massacre is beaten for the first time since tournament 6 on stage 2. Smokey was looking good. He was flying up the salmon ladder to begin with, and as he was going for that last ledge, it looked like he got it, but he slipped down and then just got completely rejected, had no chance of saving it. and Smokey will not be advancing to the third stage. For the first time since Tournament 8, we will have no All-Stars moving on to Stage 3. Smokey Massacre is unable to get past the Salmon Ladder. Well, after that shock exit, we've come to the end of Stage. Despite seeing more success on Stage 1 than we did in the last tournament, Stage 2 more than made up for it, in what proved to be an absolute bloodbath for our competitors. Of the 11 attempts made on Stage 2, 6 of them were eliminated by the Salmon Ladder. Whether they were new faces, established veterans, or even the All-Stars, they were utterly wiped out by this obstacle. Even Grand Champion Smokey Massacre couldn't defeat it, and for the first time since Tournament 10, he will not be advancing to the third stage. And all of this, despite the fact that one competitor didn't even make it to the Salmon Ladder, going out on the first obstacle, while Gotenks gave his all to get through the Salmon Ladder, but had nothing left in the tank for the rest of Stage 2. It means that we only have 3 competitors still standing to take on the third stage, all of them having defeated Stage 2 for the first time in their careers today. That's only the 4th time in the history of the show that that's happened, but the 3 previous occasions it's happened all came in the first 3 tournaments, showing just how unprecedented this is. Fireball, Paddy and Weapon Matt are the only men left standing, but now they face their toughest challenge yet. The third stage, the most difficult stage in the history of Ninja Warrior of Halo. Only the best of the best of the best have ever defeated this stage. And as we saw in the last tournament, this new Stage 3 is even tougher than it has ever been before. And coming into the Halo 5 course, there are a couple of new surprises in store as well. So maybe it's better that these final 3 challengers don't know what they're letting themselves in for. The question is, do any of these 3 challengers have what it takes to do the unthinkable? Can any of them defeat the third stage and advance to the final stage? It's time for the battle to begin! It truly is incredible to say. The first time in 15 tournaments, every competitor that's made it to the third stage is taking it on for their first time. And the first man is at the start line. First up on Stage 3 is Paddy Freakin, aka of the YouTube channel Paddy Freakin Clips. This is Paddy's second appearance on the course, having made his debut in the last tournament. He achieved an ignominious record of sorts when he became only the second competitor to reach the jumping spider, but he became the first ever competitor to fail the obstacle. It was incredibly disappointing for Paddy, who had high hopes of beating Stage 1 on his debut, which to hear that from a newcomer is impressive stuff. But so far in this tournament, he has shown why he has such huge ambitions, as he got his revenge on the jumping spider and defeated Stage 1 with a very composed and controlled performance. Then, on Stage 2, he showed us the way on the Salmon Ladder as he became the first ever competitor to beat Stage 2 on Halo 5. Paddy's also proven himself to be a very charitable man with the babysitting he's done for Ninty.
What's it in the second left?
What?
Second left.
What?
What?
The word is what?
Where's
Oh my god.
Still funny. Paddy has one prior experience of making it to the third stage. That came in the final MCC tournament on Smokey's Halo Ninja Warrior. And during that attempt, he did pretty well on Stage 3, getting deep into the stage and putting on an impressive performance. So, can he repeat that on his first attempt on this Stage 3? Paddy Freakin, number 50, the first man leading us out. How will he fare? 8 obstacles, no time limit. As he moves on to the propeller bars. This is a new obstacle to kick us off on stage 3. Got to traverse your way across these thin bars that vary in distance and moving all over the place. And he's looking good, taking a save jump when he needs to, but looking very solid so far. Onto the last bar and into the hanging passage. We saw this in the last tournament. Pretty simple obstacle. You got to just make your way through the head side, zigzagging around the little blocks. It's not a tricky obstacle, it's more of a time waster, but if you get impatient and try to rush it, you will slip off the side. But Paddy's through nicely, heading on to the curtain jump. We also saw this obstacle in the last tournament. 2 huge jumps that you've got to make. He's over the first one nicely, lining himself up for the second one. This second jump is even more difficult than the first one. You've got to get this jump just right. Can Paddy do it? He goes for it. Oh, and he gets it just about. A save jump, but he makes it. 3 obstacles down. Now onto the 4th. This is the cliffhanger. 3 tiny little ledges. First one straight. The second one is an angled one, which he's on nicely. But now you've got to make this jump to this huge one to get onto the 3rd one. And he goes for it. Paddy! No! Paddy can't do it! And Paddy is beaten by the cliffhanger. His fantastic tournament comes to an end. Paddy was looking good to begin with on stage 3, getting through the first few obstacles with no real trouble at all. He was looking good. Took his time when he needed to on that curtain jump. This second jump, so huge, but he managed to get through it nicely. But on that cliffhanger, this jump is so treacherous. Did he lag a little bit? Did that affect him? Either way, it's game over for Paddy. He came up just short of the 3rd ledge. That is the end for Paddy in Tournament 18. That leaves 2 competitors left to go now. Can either of them succeed where Paddy has failed? Next up on stage 3 is Weapon Matt. Ironically, Weapon Matt is the most successful out of the final 3, having beaten stage 1 in the last tournament. But even then, that's not saying much because this is only his 2nd appearance. And like Paddy, he made his debut in the last tournament. He was one of only 7 competitors to defeat stage 1 in the last tournament, and he was the only newcomer to make it to stage 2 in tournament 17. Despite his success though on stage 1, that was almost immediately squashed by the salmon ladder in stage 2. But after such an impressive debut performance by Weapon Matt, he has returned for tournament 18 and so far has looked even better, defeating stage 1 once again and then getting his revenge on the salmon ladder to defeat stage 2 for his first time and make it to the 3rd stage. And if Weapon Matt needs any inspiration, he simply needs to look to his first stage 3 attempt on Smokey's course, when against the odds he was able to defeat stage 3 and become the first ever competitor to make it to the final stage on the Xbox One of that course. And incredibly, on the final stage he managed to put on the best performance against me and Gotenks to finish in 1st place in that tournament. And then in the first Halo 5 tournament, tournament 17, he finished in 1st place again. So, with all those impressive performances, can Weapon Matt do it once again on this course? Could he do the unthinkable and defeat stage 3? Weapon Matt, number 73. He looked impressive in the last tournament. He's gone even further in this tournament. Could he really do the unthinkable and beat stage 3 on his first attempt? The only person who's ever done it on this course was Ree on his debut in tournament 2. No other competitor has ever beaten stage 3 on their first time attempting the stage. Matt making his way through the propeller bars, looking pretty good at the minute. Nicely to the second set. That jump is the trickiest of them all, and then the transfer to the third set. Not as quick as Paddy, he's taken a few more save jumps, but there is no time limit, so he can take as long as he likes. Look at the crowd watching on in the background. There's about 6 people there supporting Weapon Matt, including Paddy and Fireball. Even though he's out, Paddy is still supporting. Fireball is probably hoping that Weapon Matt can get a little bit further than Paddy did to get a few tips, a few hints, a few little helpers for when Fireball takes on the course. Weapon Matt's just easing his way through the hanging passage here. Last set, last blockage, and he's through nicely. And on to the curtain jump. Crowd watching on, all just praying that Weapon Matt will have what it takes to defeat this stage. He's on to the first ledge, makes the huge jump to the second ledge, and lands it with the save jump. Now, the second jump. Lines himself up. Playing it safe, that's good. He's got a plan. Will it work though? He goes for it. Huge jump, and he doesn't even need a save jump. He makes it nicely. And he's onto the cliffhanger. This obstacle took out 3 of the 4 competitors that attempted it in the last tournament, and it's already taken down its first attempt, or competitor to attempt it, in Paddy. Can Weapon Matt defeat it? He's up to the second ledge. He's immediately going for it to land on the third ledge. Oh no, Weapon Matt! He was so close! He almost landed it! He just slid off! Oh, Weapon Matt, this was very, very close. Almost got the distance that was needed to land on that third ledge. He landed on the very edge of the third ledge. He just slid off it, couldn't get the save jump. And it is all over for Weapon Matt. The crowd watching on. You could hear a pin drop. They were all just watching Weapon Matt take that jump. But he slipped up. He couldn't do it. And the crowd is gutted, firing bullets into the sky, murdering some innocent birds. Snaz watches on, looking at Weapon Matt's dead body. This cliffhanger is an absolute monster of an obstacle. Can anyone get past it? And with that, we're down to our final competitor. Next up is DHG Fireball. Back today for his 3rd appearance. Incredibly, Fireball is the most experienced competitor out of the final 3, even though he's only making his 3rd appearance on the course. He made his debut in the final Xbox 360 tournament, where he was unceremoniously dumped out early on stage 1. He returned in tournament 17, where he got a little bit further but couldn't beat the Flying Chute. In this tournament, however, it has been his breakout tournament. Fireball has been the standout competitor so far. He got the fastest time comfortably in stage 1, and then got the fastest time on stage 2 as well, becoming only the 5th competitor in the history of the show to get the fastest time on the first 2 stages of the same tournament. Fireball has looked impressive, but maybe we shouldn't be that surprised. Ever since he made his debut in Halo Jumping, in the final Xbox 360 tournament of Smokey's course, he stood out, making it to stage 3 on his debut.
People in the last tournament, he goes for it, and Fireball gets the metal spin. He's through, he's onto the wall lift.
His performances on that course have established him as one of the top competitors on Halo Ninja Warrior. But stood out with impressive performances so far in this tournament. So the question is, can Fireball be the number 1? He's been the number 1 on stages 1 and 2. Can he do it again? Can he beat the cliffhanger? Could he beat stage 3? Can he secure that first place finish that would be the shining end to his tournament? Number 75, DHG Fireball, the last man standing. Who would have predicted that at the start of the tournament? A little praying shot to the heavens and he's off. 8 obstacles, no time limit. Who could have honestly predicted this at the start of the tournament? That number 75 would be the last man standing. Let alone it would be Fireball, who'd never beaten Stage 1 prior to this tournament. Can he cap off being last man standing by getting the furthest out of all 100 competitors in this tournament? He's flown through the propeller bars very nicely and is on to the hanging passage. Very nicely. And for all those fact finders out there wondering who the other 4 were, it was Doom Knight Omega in Tournament 1, Ree in Tournament 2, Defiant in Tournament 3, and Smokey in the last tournament, with the other competitors that got fastest time on stages 1 and 2. Fireball has joined an elite group. Crowd watching on as he goes for the curtain jump. He immediately goes for it on the curtain jump, not wasting any time at all. This is the way Fireball likes to move. He likes to move fast. We've seen it on Smokey's course plenty of times, and we've seen it so far in this tournament. He's just built himself to go fast. Now he goes for it on the curtain jump. Oh, that was very close. That was even closer than Paddy's was. But he got the save jump that he needed. Another praying shot to the heavens. I think he knows just how close that was. Yes, he does know. Oh, he's very thankful for that save jump. Is this a sign that luck is on Fireball's side? He gets onto the second one. Oh, he's save jumping. Oh, he's made a mistake here. Can he correct himself? Yes, he gets the short hop. Not very often competitors have done a short hop on this cliffhanger. Certainly weren't doing it on the Halo 4 course. But Fireball goes for it on the 3rd ledge. No, Fireball! It's over. Fireball is down. And Tournament 18 is done. DHG Fireball is beaten. The signs, the omens were on his side. He got a huge save jump coming off of that curtain jump, and then incredibly managed to save himself. He thought he was going to slip off that second ledge, so he started save jumping. He got the short hop to set himself back up again. But on this 3rd ledge, he came up too short, and he just got completely rejected by that 3rd ledge. The crowd watching on sees Fireball drop into the waters as well, just like Paddy and Weapon Matt. And that is the end of the tournament. The crowd is gutted for Fireball. He is beaten. He couldn't get past the cliffhanger. And Tournament 18, for all 3 of these heroes, is over. But Fireball is still going to get congratulated by everyone. And getting his celebratory kick to the shins or something. And Paddy and Weapon Man are all getting their celebrations as well. They've been the heroes in this tournament, and they should be proud. And with that, Tournament 18 of Ninja Warrior of Halo is over. 100 competitors came to take on this brand new course as we entered a new era of Ninja Warrior of Halo on Halo 5. But in the end, all 100 were defeated. We saw the good, the bad, and the truly unbelievable in this tournament. We saw our competitors make real progress on Stage 1, and we saw plenty of new faces amongst the next generation of stars on this course that we can look forward to seeing in future tournaments. But in the end, despite the best efforts of those that beat Stage 1, they were no match for Stages 2 and 3, and total victory was once again evaded. Nevertheless, we finished with a record of sorts at the end of this tournament. For the first time in Ninja Warrior of Halo history, we finished with a tie for first place. All 3 competitors that made it to the 3rd stage were taking it on for their first time, and although none of them could get past that 3rd ledge on the cliffhanger, they all walked away with a first place finish to put in their metaphysical trophy cabinets. Nevertheless, this cliffhanger looks like an absolute monster of an obstacle. Even though we have plenty of new faces to look forward to in future tournaments to come. Smokey is still the only competitor to have beaten this version of the cliffhanger, and the final stage feels a long way away. Who will be the second competitor to get past the cliffhanger? Will it happen in the next tournament? Who will be the first to make it to the final stage in this era of Ninja Warrior of Halo? Will it be one of the new generation of Halo jumpers? Or will Smokey take his revenge for his early exit in this tournament and remind everyone in the next tournament why he is the king of Ninja Warrior of Halo? That, guys, is all to look forward to, though, in the future. For now, I hope you've enjoyed this tournament. If you have, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys again soon for Tournament 19. Until then, guys, I've been Hunter Unit 751, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, guys.